Hi, this is János, this is Real World Audio, and this video is about the Lagrond loudspeaker, as there's more interest in it, more and more who would like to build it, and Alan was asking, why do you need to make elaborate things on it like this? It all looks like really boutique, and do you really need that? So this video is about that. Whether you want to build it as it is in the plans that you can download from my Buy Me a Coffee website, or you can also find them in my videos. If you look at them at the first videos this year, if you just type in Lagrond basic, you will find 3 videos like here. See, just go to my channel homepage, type in Lagrond basic, and you will have 3 videos coming up about the plans. So that's how you have explaining the things. Even if you download the plans from Buy Me a Coffee, just look at these 3 videos as well. If you haven't seen them, most likely if you got the plans, you got it because you have seen these videos. If not, this is a nice reminder, because now we are a couple months away from that and you might be missing it. So these 3 videos are the basic building blocks, and basically in these plans I have the basics for these speakers, that if you build them, that's it, you have built it, and then later on, if you want, you can make these finer modifications and take it a little bit further. And do you need to do that, or you don't need to do that? So first of all, I would say just go for the basic version, build it. Especially if this is your first loudspeaker project, don't put in more effort than that. Build just the basics. That will be a learning experience for you already. And as I said, use screws to put it together, because if you glue it, that's it, you are done. You cannot modify it unless you break it apart. So I know I'm mentioning this because there was a lot of debate and a lot of questions asked, why do you screw it, why don't you glue it? That's the reason, because when you screw it, you can upgrade it, you can make it better. And if you glue it, that's it, you have to build a new cabinet if you want upgrades. And do you need upgrades at all? No. Finally, János, when are you going to say that? So basically, the difference between the basic Lagrond and the Grande Lagrond with these refinements is not very big. It's subtle, but the same kind of subtleness that you have the difference between a violin that you get for maybe like 200 euros or $200, and you give it to your son or your granddaughter to practice learning. It sounds like a violin, yeah. And you get like a really nice, like an 18th century French violin, which is a gorgeous, beautiful tone. And to a layman, especially one who like never heard classical music, someone plays on both, they will say, okay, it's a violin, whatever. But if you are a violinist, or you love to listen to violin, for you it will be a night and day difference between the two. And if you don't care about violin, who cares? It just, both of them are violin. And how will that appear in your stereo system? Now, the rationale behind that is that it all depends on the rest of your audio system. If you have a lower level solid state amplification, some basic CD player or streamer, basic interconnects, then you will not notice much difference between the two. And you might even like the basic version better than the refined version. And none of them will give you an outstanding experience that when you play a violin, it will come out like the tones, the tonality of the violin. Neither will give you that experience. But I would say it will be still giving you more likely a better experience with violin than getting a commercial speaker with cabinets made of MDF. I can almost guarantee that, at least for my hearing and my taste, every single case. But if you are into like listening like material that does not have tonal content, or you are not used to listen to tonal content, you just want pure energy, just rock and roll, and then this is not the choice for you at all. So I would rather than go for something else and build something that is really built for high power demand. If you want rock and roll, big paper cone drivers, anything else will be a joke, really. But still, so my main recommendation for these speakers is, if you want something that gives you, in the quality department, not in the quantity department, but even there, it will really give you what it can give when you pair it with the appropriate system, with the appropriate surroundings. And now you don't have to get like a $50,000 tube amplifier. You don't absolutely need the Ongaku as a minimal requirement to drive it. You can get, or you can build a high quality tube amplifier for yourself. For example, there's the example. That's my Darling amplifier. I also gave the recipe on my channel how to build a Darling amplifier, and you can build it for a few $100s, few €100, and it's less than 1 watt per channel output. So it will work with Lagrond if you don't play too loud in a small room. So it cannot push really loud volumes with that, but it will really excel at playing at a soft volume. So for example, here I have them in this small room, and I never ever, since I had them here, since I built the speakers, not a single time I felt that I need more volume than what it can provide. And that's because I don't have to crank it up so my ears bleed, that it will start sounding good. It starts good even when I play them at a volume where I'm just like a speaking volume. If the music is at a speaking volume, then already it's providing a beautiful experience with any kind of music, from rock and roll, classical orchestra, even a church organ, and even like a techno trance ambience music, like those kind of stuff, just phenomenal with the Darling. And when you pair it with an amplifier that's at the level of Darling amplifier, that's when it will make a big difference, that you change it from the basic version to the refined version. And then this is where you can appreciate the beautifully recorded violin, the beautifully recorded guitar, singing, any kind of instruments where it has tonality, and then you are listening for beauty, and those harmonics that are there, and it's really easy. So the reason for that is that when you have just a plain square box, then you have all resonant problems, because the square is the worst thing on the planet that you can use to make sound, because it creates the worst possible standing waves inside and worst possible resonances. So that's why I am modifying it to make it less square, making it more round, and at the same time a thinner side walls, so that the energy is transmitted faster to the outside. And when you especially make these modifications, that you cave out the top and the side panels, in this case it will feel as like a plus 5 dB in sensitivity. So when I did that I added weight on the top, and also like put dampening on the sides to negate these effects, that it's a really fast transmitter of sound. It felt as if the whole thing just collapsed, and the volume collapsed, the presence collapsed, and the music, instead of like filling the room, like when you have real instruments playing, yes, you can hear that it's coming, the sound is originating from the violin there, but you also feel the sound of the violin envelopes the entire room, it fills in the room. And when we have these, and I know that because I also have a violin, and I have friends who play violin, so quite familiar how it sounds when you play yourself and when there are others standing next to you who can play violin. And it's that's how real instruments sound, that there's a component that you can hear that's coming from there, but they also feel in the room. And the better violin, the more it feels in the room. And it's just phenomenal how this tiny instrument that just fits on your hand is just like, it's not just like can fill my living room, but in a concert hall, even a concert hall, it just, the sound can travel just so beautifully at such a wonderful pace. And that's what these extra little mods that look boutique do to the sound, that you have the capability to enjoy these more evolved music instruments to a much fuller potential. So so for all of you who are building Lagrond, and that's my advice, just if it's first of all, if it's your first building project and you just want to wet your fingers, wet your toes, wet your feet, then just build the basic version and build it so that the side walls are solid wood, and the front and back panels are plywood, and then you can hollow out the top and the sides to take it further. So that's later on, if you like the speakers. If you don't like them at all, then there's no point of wasting any more time with that. Maybe it might not be even the speakers thing that why you won't like them. Maybe they won't match your room, they won't match your amplifier, and you rather want to keep your amplifier than hunt for an amplifier that matches them. So there's lots of choices in life, and maybe you will choose, it was a good experience building them, and then your next step, you wanted something completely different. Or maybe you will want to take them further, like doing this. Or you can also do something different, take it in a very different direction where you want to take it, like make the cabinets non-resonant, and take it into an avenue where it's just like really heavy solid material. So instead of having a light cabinet, make it like really thick cabinet walls, and add maybe a little bit of dampening as well, and change the port, and it can work really well. And I have had reports on that being done. So there's many multiple ways. What I'm showing here and sharing is what I like personally, and you might like it as well. And people who have built the Lagrond, they shared with me that they love it. They absolutely love it. And then they tried out different options, how they modified it, being more alive or less alive, different drivers, different things, and there's a lot of experience to be done with that. And I think hopefully what I have received as feedback from the Lagrond builds is that everyone thought that this was a really enjoyable, really positive thing to embark on, to build these speakers, and they just punch way higher, way heavier than what is the cost of the driver, what was the work necessary to build them. It just like really play in a very high league. And for all of you who have recently downloaded the plans and looking into building them, it will be a really fun project. And don't worry about these refinements. I know in the beginning of the year I was promising to update the plans and make the videos on how to do it, but this year has been a nightmare for me on the personal side, and I haven't had time to go into that, because when I do that, I want to do a thorough job of sharing with you really step by step what you can do, how you can do this mod to take them further. And I have videoed my entire creation process of making Lagronds, and it was, I think, like 40 hours of videos I made, something like that. So there's a lot of material I have to go through. And so, but sooner or later I will do that. But this year, like, my personal time has disappeared. It has been non-existent. So that's why I haven't been able to do any kind of effort that requires like plenty of preparation and planning. So most things were just ad lib or just something kind of, yeah. Oh, thank you guys, thank you, and girls, everyone, for hanging on, and I wish you good luck and loads of fun for the loudspeaker build. Bye bye.